Genesis begins with God creating the universe in 6 days through his spoken word. On the sixth day, God created man in his likeness from the dust of the ground. He named the man Adam and placed him in the Garden of Eden. God then made a woman, Eve, from one of Adam's ribs. They were the crown of his creation, and he told them to be fruitful and multiply. He said his creation was very good, and that Adam and Eve could eat of every tree in the garden except one, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. But Eve was tempted by the serpent, Satan, and she ate the forbidden fruit. Then she gave some to Adam, and he ate. This act of high-handed disobedience introduced sin, death, sickness, and suffering into creation. It separated man from God. It created enmity between humanity and its creator. The inclination of man's heart towards sin originates in this rebellious act. Mankind's new sin nature began to express itself, and it soon led to the first murder when Adam and Eve's son Cain killed his brother Abel. Because the human race was drowning in sin, God decided to flood the whole earth. But God told a man named Noah to build a boat to save him and his family from the flood. God flooded the earth and kept Noah, his family, and some animals safe. However, Noah was still sinful, and man still wanted to be God. Generations later, men banded together in a city called Babel to build a tower reaching heaven. They wanted to show their own greatness. This went against God's command to fill the earth and subdue it. So God confused their languages, and construction on the tower stopped. Then everyone scattered and filled the earth. Later, God called a man named Abraham and promised to give him a son through his barren wife, Sarah. When Abraham was 100 years old, Sarah gave birth to a boy named Isaac. Abraham was the father of the nation of Israel. The New Testament highlights his living and active faith in God. Isaac had Jacob. Jacob had 12 sons who became the 12 tribes of Israel. His 11th was Joseph, also his favorite. Joseph's brothers were jealous of him, and they sold him into Egypt, where he rose to second in command through the timely interpretation of Pharaoh's dreams. God revealed to Joseph that a worldwide famine was coming. Joseph made provisions, and during the famine, the whole world came to Joseph for food, including his brothers. When they came to Egypt, they did not recognize their brother, but eventually Joseph made himself known to them. Then his whole family, including his father Jacob, moved to Egypt, where they multiplied and became a great nation. So how does Genesis point to the gospel, the good news about Jesus Christ? First, it declares the bad news. Man rebelled against God, and now every human being is born with a sinful nature. This shows our need for a Savior, preparing the way for the good news. In Genesis 3:15, God promises to send a Savior to deliver his people from their sins. This verse prophesies that the Savior's heel will be bruised by the serpent. This describes the death of Christ on the cross. But this verse also prophesies that the serpent's head will be crushed by the Savior. This describes the defeat of Satan at the cross. The promised Savior is Jesus Christ, the last Adam, the son of Abraham, and the Lion of Judah in the New Testament.